Well, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 23rd. We are getting started here.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Alex.
How are you?
How is the real Alex this morning?
He's as real as it gets, sir.
Not to be mistaken with the fake real Alex.
So when right when we first joined TikTok years ago, Allie got an account and she named her account the fake Alex.
There you
my
are.
Original troll. Good morning.
Good morning. You're looking dapper this morning.
I guess workout shirt.
Exactly. I know. Oh boy. So let's see. We got any of the other guys here yet? Oh, did you see that text from Dave about the intelligence thing?
I did, but I haven't been able to find a live posting. So, yeah, there's Dave.
Oh, hey, Dave.
And good morning, guys. Don't see Interstate.
Are you in the tractor this morning?
No, we had another half an inch of rain, so sitting idle again.
Oh, wow. Well,
our rivers are at flood stage right now, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It's wet.
Oh, boy. Wait.
Super. Wendy?
All right, so let me say good morning to some people here. Good morning. Deborah Dodd Wade is here. Good morning. Kim55, one of our subscribers, is here. Traveler is here. Good morning, Traveler. And Wendy and John Gwynn. Boy, we got a house full coming in. Glad to see it. Thank you. The Pink Bears. I think, I don't even know what they're called. Pink Hello Bears or something. I don't know. But I'm glad everybody's here. Good morning, Tina. Franny Dragonfly made it. Good morning, Franny. So, Alex, let's get started with stock market, crypto, crude oil. Bless you.
Crude oil is sitting at $62 a barrel.
Okay.
Gold has dipped to $3,200 from its $3,500 high.
Okay.
But gold dipping is no surprise, as the S&P 500 is up 111, the Dow is up 655, and the NASDAQ is up 488. Based on the fact that our fearless leader has softened his speech on Powell and yeah. So.
Can you say three-dimensional chess? And there's so many five-dimensional chess, and there's so many on the left, talking about, oh, President Trump went all in and he got called, and these people just can't see past it. Cracks me up.
Yeah, and the poor dad.
Oh, geez. Really? We're going to go there? I know. All righty, so let's see. We have Tina is here. Steve Sackett is here. Good morning. Christy B is here. Good morning, Christy. Donna Fox is here. Good morning, Donna. Franny Dragonfly, thank you for the bears. That's very sweet. Softball Mom is here. Good morning, Softball Mom. And all right, so let's see. We've got crypto. Where's that at today, Alex?
Bitcoin's 92,000. Let me refresh the page just so we have current numbers. 93,000. It's up cents. Ethereum up 5% to 1790. RP up 3% at 223. So, pretty much baseline across all indices right now.
Right. Did you guys see that video about XRP? Possible numbers. Those were some huge numbers.
Yeah. and nobody has the ability to predict it, Sam.
Right.
Go back to 2013, Bitcoin hit 100. Oh, it's going to 1 million. Well, 100,000 ain't bad, but
Yeah.
it's the long game. It's the long game. We're just gonna keep buying the dips and keep rolling.
100%, I agree. King's Girl 24 is here. Good morning, King's Girl. Let's see. We have is here. Tanya Moonsheiber is here. Good morning. Sheila is here. Good morning, Sheila. Michael. Lisa Maria is here. Good morning. All right, Dave, what do we got on farming and agriculture?
It's kind of quiet on the whole front on that. Prices are even across the board for the farmers. But I did talk to a local soybean for the state of Iowa, and he got to go to the Easter egg thing at the White House the other day. Then got to meet with Trump firsthand, and I talked to him this morning about it, and he said Trump says we would very, very good care of our farmers.
Oh, good. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not worried about that at all.
Right. But it's always nice to back them sometimes, though, too.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarge is here this morning. Good morning, Sarge.
Action speakers, and
Oh, yeah.
man, have we seen a lot of action?
No
Lots
kidding.
of action.
No kidding. I mean, there's so much going on just from a current event standpoint that I literally could do a 15 or 20-minute bullet point presentation every morning. And I just have to decide what I think is the most what.
Why don't you get on that?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I don't spend enough time doing all of this as it is. The heck was I thinking?
You can cut back on sleep a little bit.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if I can. Not at my
Right.
age.
Yeah.
It's-
More the merrier.
Oh, I'm telling you, it just cracks. All right, so we have Mary Lise Brown is here. Good morning, Mary Lise. Glad you can make it. All right, so let's jump in here. I haven't seen James. Have you guys seen James?
No, I thought he's maybe filling some planters this morning, but he thought he'd be here for the first 15, 20 minutes is what he told me. So
Okay, well, if he makes it, he makes. Excuse me.
I think he's still. I'll wait till Dave comes back. I think he's still pouting about the morel mushrooms.
I don't blame you.
Oh, yeah,
I get
so-
them out, too.
What exactly are those, Alex? I'm familiar with that particular.
So morels are a spring delicacy in the Midwest. They are a mushroom variety that comes up when the soil temperature reaches about 45 to 55 degrees and the outdoor temperature doesn't above 80 for several days. You will have these mushrooms that grow typically under cottonwoods are a good place to find them. Elm trees are a good place for them. And every once in a while you can find some if the branches are high enough off the ground up underneath seeds. And man, they
Are they medicinal in nature, or?
they are the consistency of a medium rare steak, medium well steak, medium rare, and they take on, of course, the flavor of however you prepare them. So a lot of people dice them up and make their own cream of mushroom soups.
Oh,
You can put them on a pizza if you're into them that way. They're not like I am not a huge mushroom fan of the little toadstool looking mushrooms.
Yeah.
But morels are different than so the way I prefer is you soak them in a little bit of water with just a tad of salt. It gets any others off of them, whatever. Rinse them real well. And I take and flip them in flour, lightly flour them, and then drop them over in a cast iron skillet full of butter.
oh, wow. Wow.
So very, very healthy.
Oh, man.
Well, I wasn't really aware of what the benefit was, and I thought, well, if these are the type of mushrooms I think they could be, I was expecting the next picture could be you running naked through the forest or something. I wasn't really sure.
Now, those mushrooms grow in cow feces.
Okay. Oh, hold on one second. Here we got it.
So I'm told.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Not that you have any personal experience with it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sam.
Exactly. All righty. So let's see. Oh, hey, Crystal's made it. Good morning, Crystal. Glad you can make it. Dana Mackey's here as well. Tina says yummy.
Oh man, they are yummy. Some people like to fry with onions. I mean, there's several ways, but yeah, if you haven't had a morel, should you ever venture this way and it happens to be springtime, we'll smoke up some backstrap deer meat and little side butter fried morels, and you will want to move to the Midwest.
Yum. Yeah, well, I'll take you up on that, morel. I've never even heard of them before.
Very good.
Not like we have a whole bunch of them growing out here in Los Angeles, California, I'm guessing.
I mean, I don't know. You know what? Let's see if they do. I bet they do grow up in the mountains.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like I said, I've never even heard of them. We said that yesterday.
For $24 billion, they can start.
No kidding. Jeez, I know. Amy said, "What kind?" They're called. Is it Morrell?
It's Morel, and they're on legit places in California where you can get morels.
Huh?
Grays, yellows, blacks.
Hanner said we have them here in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
King's Girl 1974 said they grow in Colorado. Huh?
Keep an eye out under ash, aspen, Douglas fir, elm, oak, ponderosa pine, sycamore, tulip, poplar, and white pine.
Well, Tina said they're expensive to buy, correct?
Oh, I could sell them for probably $40 a pound. Oh yeah, we go for $40 to $50 a pound.
Wow.
Because they're rare, Sam. They only come up in the spring, and trust me, if you have a honey hole where morels grow, you don't tell anybody where.
Really?
Man, it is a coveted fruit, my friend.
No idea. I'd never even heard of them before.
Let's see, old timers, lilacs. Let's see, where you can find morels: Layson, LASS National Forest, Palomas National Forest, Tahoe National Forest, Shasta Trinity National Forest. Yeah, up in the mountains. You could go, Sam. We have a mission for you.
If we choose to accept it, yeah, exactly.
Never to be seen again.
Right, exactly.
He'll be selling mushroom Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Angeles National Forest, Borgo Desert State Park, Cleveland National Forest, Los Padres National Forest, San Bernardino National Forest, Gabriel Mountains.
Oh, I'm near the San Gabriel Mountains. That's interesting.
Well, there you go, dude.
Wow. Well, I just may have to try to sneak up on that. I don't know.
I don't know what the season would be out there because your climate is so temperate. I would guess that it's probably much
after the rainy.
Yeah,
after the rainy season.
Much smaller than ours. But anyway,
interesting. Hey, Nana's here. Good morning, Nana. Wendy said, I have lots of oaks. Well, you better get busy, Wendy, and see if you can find some of those samples. They're pretty sought after. Hey, Ronnie's here. Good morning, Ronnie. All Northern California. Oh, okay. All right, well, let's jump into, so the first subject on the board today is, you know how we always talk about the devaluation of the dollar?
Yes, sir.
And Red Pharmacist, who has been an Anon for years, he was talking about the dollar, the number of dollars it takes to buy gold, and the gold is going up in value. It's just that the dollar is decreasing in value. Something that we have talked about here many times. And I think the fact that it's hitting more of the mainstream, I find very interesting. Alex, what do you make of it?
Well, let me get my tinfoil hat on.
Right.
Those of us that have been in the know for a long time and understand the fiat currency, the quantitative easing, the mass printing of money, it's not hard, folks, for you to go out and just dig a little, and you'll see it's it's not that a car costs more money. It's that the dollar buys less. And having traveled to places like Romania, right, where after Ceausescu fell, hyperinflation hit. I don't think Americans really have a grasp on or can appreciate what hyperinflation looks like. So Romania, it was like 28,001. So for every dollar I gave them, they gave me 28,000 of theirs. You know, you look at China and they have the 100,000. You know, that's hyperinflation. So imagine the day that you go to buy a gallon of gas and it costs you, $35.
Right.
That's hyperinflation. And if you're only making $50,000 a year, I mean, make it make sense, right? So that is the devaluation of the dollar. And since 1913, we've lost 97% of the dollar's purchasing power.
Right. Exactly. It's exactly. Look at Argentina. Look at Venezuela. All of those economies went into hyperinflation, and actually getting wheelbarrows full of their currency to roll in to buy a cup of coffee.
Yeah. And I remember at one point in Venezuela that they were taking their dollar and putting it in dumpsters. So it was no different than yesterday's news.
Right. Exactly. Very interesting times, to say the least. Somebody's asking here, Alex. Oh, good morning, Mama Bear. Can you picture of those morel mushrooms?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, the exact ones he found. And how many did you find?
I found probably 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds.
Wow.
Good.
Dude, they were. I mean, you guys saw the picture in my hand. They were
Beautiful yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to compare it to.
The biggest one we've ever found, and my brother's on here, was 2.5 pop cans tall.
How big?
2.5 pop cans tall.
Oh, wow.
I literally sat down on it to tie my shoe, and then I realized it was a mushroom.
Wow. Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but it was that tall, 2.5 cans. So.
Jeez. Well, okay, there's the picture for everybody. That's a morel mushroom.
Here's that.
And then you'll see the stem, and then you'll see the stem on it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the bottom, you'll see the stem on the bottom, and then that whole upper half. Cut it in half, soak it in salt water, put it in flour and butter it, and fry it. And it's delicious.
Good sized mushroom. My goodness.
Yes, they get good size. Some of those yellows.
That's a round bowl.
Wow. Wow. How long will they preserve? Can you keep them before they go bad?
So what I do is I lightly powder them with flour, and then put them in a Ziploc freezer bag. And when you pull them out of the freezer, you do not thaw them. You take them out of the freezer directly into the frying pan, and you can have some later in the year.
Wow.
The moisture, right?
Wow. Nothing new every day.
This is the finished product.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yum.
Oh man.
Okay, now my mouth water.
My mouth is watering as we're speaking.
Yeah.
Sam, I think Mom needs something.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't blame you either. So let's hear. Hey, Mama Soprano made it. Hey, Mom, I'm glad you could make it. Let's see. We have Jack Miller's here. Cindy's here. Dana Mackey's here. Dana's saying yum, yum. Yeah, I get it. Believe me, I get it. I thought Agape Rescues Children is here. Stacy, good morning, Stacy. She wants to know, is anything new Fort Knox? Nothing. I've had several people ask me that this via message and text and what have you. Nothing new that I know of. Now, what's that?
That's the mushrooms.
Oh, okay. Wow. Incredible. Anyway, I have not heard anything new in terms of the Fort Knox or the gold situation, but it is being brought back into the narrative, so we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Hey, Hits is here. Morning, Hits. Rosie is here. Good morning, Rosie. Debbie sells WB says, now I'm hungry. Well, I can't blame you, Debbie. All right, so let's next thing. So talking about President Trump and his 5D chess moves, we had Pete Hegseth yesterday and reiterate the President Trump order lockdown. And then Stars and Stripes came out with an article, and they said troops can now detain, search people on newly minted military order. Now, is this part of the alien? Oh gosh, I just drew a blank on the name. The Alien Invasion Act, or is this more of a kind of a insurrection act move? I don't know for sure. If James is here, he might be able to a little more. Is he here?
James is here. Yep, I think he is here somewhere. It just came on.
Let's see.
He must have had to fill a planner, more than likely.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's three up is where it says it at on the message board.
He's not showing up in the. That's right. Keep going. There he is. Boom. Got it.
Okay. There we go. Well, good morning, James.
Hey, so Hardy, I had to throw some seed corn on it real quick.
Oh, you were out looking for L's.
Yeah, exactly.
A little chilly up here for that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, James, you came in at the right time because we're talking about article in Stars and Stripes talking about how troops can now detain and search newly minted military land on the border. And we're trying to figure out if it's an Alien Invasion Act deal or an insurrection, or if it's completely different from either one of those. What's your take on it?
Alien invasion would be where it would go. The U.S. was, unless it was National Guard, are not allowed to detain. They hold them, but they can't arrest them. So if they kept them in an area, Homeland Security really the ones that are allowed to arrest, unless we declared an enemy invasion act.
Okay.
Well, okay, so here's a side note to that. A Gulf cartel operates alternative government in a Mexican border city.
Okay, well, you're talking about a cartel. That's an illegal group of people, correct?
Right, but they're operating an alternative government inside Mexico on our border, which then lends to, well, you can do that, but we're gonna claim this strip of land and we're gonna put our military here. I think we're watching a cartel go on, folks.
And they're like terrorists, so it's a pretty easy decision on our part.
And Tren de Agua, the first ever RICO charges against 27 of the Tren de Agua.
Yeah, I think there's so many things happening in the background, so many machinations taking place that I don't know that we have a tenth of the picture of what's really going on.
Frankly, we're not tired of winning.
Exactly.
And we know the Mexican government's been run by the cartel for already,
Well, and how many times did President Trump, even during the pandemic, come out and make these news briefs that were supposed to be about the pandemic, but it was Milley coming out and talking about all of the action that they were cartels at that time in the southern border. And that's going 4 or 5 years now. So again, I think there's much more going on. What's that, Alex?
When you look at the history of Arkansas and a particular governor and what was being flown in and out,
right.
How long has this gone?
Right.
What does the money from those things fund?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, James, do you have a military update today?
I do. I don't know if we talked at all about Ukraine blasting a couple Russian ships in the refinery, but they had an 8-hour campaign overnight, and they took down the Horovitz. It was a minesweeper. They actually sunk that boat using 90 drones and 6 missiles. And after they got done with that, they took down a refinery with some missiles, and they went to a Corvette class warship called the Zuklan, and they did some pretty extensive damage, but did not sink that one. And along with that, the Defense Department is claiming that we're in a serious likeliness of having a cyber attack. I don't know if you recall this, but about 2 weeks ago, we talked about a bunch of the U.S. Space Force Cyber Command down computers because they were obsolete, and they were firing a lot of those people. And I think Alex said that would probably still be okay, but it sounds like that is something of a big concern right now.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Franny Dragonfly, thank you for all the bears. Angela, thank you for the gifts. Just Nanette said they need to use the Logan Act on the senators and return to the U.S. Yeah, I mean, what a political stunt. You got all these Congress people going over to what's
El Salvador.
El Salvador and making this big grandstand play, and one of them even saying, "I'm not coming back till the dad from Maryland comes back." I mean, come on.
Well, there is a caveat to this, Sam. Even though the Republican Party said, "Go ahead, we'll fund it," what they're going to do is they're going to be chasing their tail, because as soon as they bring him back to Homeland Security, he's a convicted terrorist, correct?
Yeah.
Homeland Security is going to say, "Nope, can't come here. You're a convicted terrorist. You're not welcome here. We're taking you." So they got him either way. He's not coming back to the United States.
Right. Exactly. Grandstanding for clicks, as far as I'm concerned.
For sure.
Yeah. Hey, Don the Third G just made it. Thank you for the tiny dinies, Don. All right. Well, let's move over to Vice President J.D. Vance said that it looks like America and India are getting close to making some sort of a deal in tariffs and trade. We don't have a lot of detail on that, but Dave or Alex, what do you think? Do you have any extra details on that, or Dave, do you?
I know that there's 1 billion people in India, and it sounds like this week alone they're working on 34 other countries. And Trump floats the substantial Chinese tariff cuts with China, he was saying. So he's going to cut back on the tariffs on China as they near a deal.
Right.
Also.
Right. Alex?
That's the headline.
Yeah, exactly. Lisa Maria said, so the liberals need to get over it. It's so true. It is so true. But you know what? They flip-flop back and forth so much. You know, they're so concerned about the environment, and they all go out and buy Teslas. And then, you know, a year later, oh, this company in the world, they got to get rid of our Tesla.
Look, New York yesterday, where on Earth Day they were spraying the Tesla dealership. But isn't spray paint bad for the environment?
So true.
And the bull on Wall Street, right? They're spraying that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, well, who knows? Tammy C54 is here. Thank you for the gifts, Tammy. Oh, so now we have the Trump administration aggressively shaking up the State Department and closing 132 agency offices. Now, not only are they closing agency offices, but how many offices of the IRS have been closed? How many employees for the IRS have been? I mean, this is the theme that we're seeing with President Trump. Go ahead, Alex.
How long has Washington, D.C. been freaking vacant?
Right. Exactly. You know, Richard Citizen journalist, Nancy Drew, they're boots in Washington for the last several years. And for those of you who go and follow them, because they're actually taking film of what's going on in Washington, D.C., and it may actually not be Washington, D.C., but the federal buildings, the IRS, the CIA, they're all empty. And some people are arguing that it's because people are working from home. I don't think that's the case at all. You're shaking your head no, Alex? What do you think?
I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, if you go back and you look at administrations, I've been to DC, like those buildings popping, parking garages are full. You can't find a place to park there. And now it's a freaking ghost town.
Right.
I mean, literally, it's a freaking ghost town.
Right. Exactly. Gerald McNeil said the whole Democrat is in their terrible twos, if you know what I mean. Immature and very true.
They just need a spanking.
Yeah, exactly. King's Girl 1974 said holes in the ozone brings another ice age, so we're told in the 60s. Yeah. How many times have they told us that the water levels are rising, the ice caps are melting, and yet you go and you look at pictures, 100-year spread in between, and there's no difference. I mean, that just cracks me up.
Yeah, I think Al Gore was on the news last night yelling and screaming again. I laughed because I usually have big snowstorms. I'll park my truck by the snow pile and say, boy, that Al Gore's full of crap.
Yeah. How many homes does he own around the world? How many private jets does he fly on? How much electricity is being burned in houses that he doesn't even live in? Yeah. Talk about hypocritical behavior. I think example.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, exactly. Blondie said, "Hey, Blondie, glad you came in." She said, "Chuck Schumer owns those federal buildings. Go. How could Chuck Schumer own them? Is he the landlord? I didn't know.
An investment group, maybe.
Maybe.
We looked that up, didn't we? Before? Yeah, I think we looked it up.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that one, but thank you for the heads up, Blondie.
Going back to climate scares, there are articles going back to 1967. Dire famine forecast for the United States by 1969. Foe of pollution sees a lack of time. Environmental outrun public concern. Scientists predicts a new ice age by the 21st century.
Right.
And the articles go on and on through the steps. The ice age is coming. The ice age is coming. Space satellites show new ice age coming fast. They've been building this climate narrative, and so used ice age for so long, and then they used global warming for so long. Neither one of those things transpired, so they had to go to climate.
Right. Exactly.
And Alex, guys, you know what saved us in the 80s was getting rid of Aquanet hairspray.
Yeah.
Hey, I want big hair back.
Yeah. Exactly. James, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, that's great. You know, if you think of it, that's actually very with the Aquanet. You know, they work that Aquanet works great in potato guns too.
Yeah.
Well, in the 80s, it turned into acid rain.
Right. Exactly. Well,
they say that it's a punching holes with the spaceship, these shuttles that they have going up. They do more to the ozone than all the vehicles that Shell exhaust combined.
Well, and that's a whole nother issue. They termed it fossil fuels to make people think that it was the dinosaurs that left the oil. Oil is the plentiful fluid on the earth next to water. And it's been a misnomer from day one based on the oil companies, 100 and so years ago. Tina Marie Hypnotist, only Washington now. KCMCG said DA District of America. Yeah, well, let's see. King's Girl 1974 said, laugh out loud, Aquanet. It's so true.
In 2009, just 96 months to save the world, says Prince Charles.
Mama Bear said the world was going to end in 2000 because of the computers. That's right. Y2K. I remember that. My God, everything's going to be. In fact, I came up with a product. This is when I owned that technology company. I was trying to figure out a way to capitalize on the Y2K hysteria. So in 1999, I put together, I brought a graphic artist and a partner of mine, and the design was an aerosol can, and I called it Y2K Away. And the whole way I tried to bill it was, just spray this and you won't have to worry about it. And I was like, oh gosh, do we have Adam back?
We do. 10:33. He is.
What's that?
He is
a penalty box.
Well, it's about time, young man. Welcome back, Adam.
Thank you much, boys.
So to finish that story, I was convinced that I was going to make millions of dollars with this Y2K spray. Needless to say, it didn't happen.
Womp womp.
Exactly. So, Adam, give us an update. How are you doing? We haven't seen you in a while because you were a bad boy.
I know, I was running my mouth. Apparently I said something wrong. So I've been hanging in there. I've been trying to stay on top of things. There's been a lot of others that have been working on in the background, which come forward here in the near future. So we shall see.
Yeah, cool. Right on, brother.
But yeah, been trying to stay on top of everything else like the rest of us.
Well, we're glad you're back. And our Jeff Code, who's here, said, welcome back, Adam. We miss you.
Thank you.
All right. So we, before we get moving into the next article, there's people in here today. If you would, hit the follow button on TikTok. If you're on X, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, give us the thumbs up or the positive affirmation button. That would be great. And let's do our sponsorship announcement now. So first off, as you all know, I'm sponsored by MyPillow and have been from the very beginning. Lindell could use our help. It's a good American company with good American products. Go to mypillow.com, use the discount code SAM, and you'll get up to 80% off of all of your purchases. Again, Mike can use our help. He just had surgery. He's doing well. But if you want to support not only this channel, but Mike Lindell and a good American company, go to mypillow.com and use the discount code SAM. Secondly, we have Neil Naturopathic, toxic-free, chemical-free products in the country that I'm aware of. Dr. Neil is a personal friend of mine. If you go to samshalhoub.com, click on the hair care products, it'll take you to his website. Use the code SAM20, that's SAM20, to get 20% off of all of your purchases. And lastly, we have Dr. Glidden, a stalwart of wellness. Go to samshalhoub.com. There's 2 buttons for him. You can buy his new book, or you can look at his website, which is a plethora of information on health and wellness. And we would be remiss if we didn't talk about cybersecurity. So, Alex, will you tell us a little bit about RiskTool?
RiskTool Technologies, we host a training platform that is automated cybersecurity training for your staff. So if you own a company or you know someone or your employer that is doing annual training on the cybersecurity, put the number one threat to a cyber crime happening in an organization. And through the rest of the quarter, you refer someone to us. The first month of their premium will go to you as a thank you.
Excellent. And Alex, will you put that link in the chat, please?
Tooltech.com.
Okay, great. All right, John Lungbarella Gifts, welcome. I'm glad you can make it. Jason Coons is here. Good morning, Jason. Oh, Glenn said the 2012 Mayan calendar. Oh, yeah, that was just a whole nother thing. You know, and the world's in 2012, and, you know, I won't get into all the whole rabbit hole there, but yeah, you're right, Glenn. That's another real deal. PM Hughes said, what did you do for a living, Sam? Well, I have been an entrepreneur for, oh my God, since I was 25 years old. I've owned a health club. I've owned a cell phone company. I've owned a glass company. I was in real estate. I've owned a nutrition company. It's a huge resume. But suffice it to say, I've been a businessman for many, many years. And now I guess I'm a talking head on social media, right? All right, so let's move over to the next article. This is a great one. We had DC Drano come out and say that the FBI and the IRS are now investigating the $24 billion missing from California's homeless fund. Dave, why don't you lead off on that one, because you had a look about that earlier.
Well, I guess it's time to find out who the criminals really are. Obviously, that's pretty important. California residents to find that out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Adam, what are your thoughts? Oh, do we lose Adam? All right, James, what about you?
I think it's all Gavin Newsom, all of it. And no, it's kind of like Tim Walsh misappropriating 17 million. It's got to be Gavin Newsom. Has to be.
Yeah, exactly. Alex?
The merrier.
Yeah. Exactly. All righty. So let's see. We have, boy, the chat's moving fast today. My apologies here. King's Girl 1974 said, check Newsom's pockets. So true. So very true. Let's see. We don't have, oh, yeah. Hannah Westla said Newsom asked for alumnus state. Yeah, I mean, come on. That guy is just so far gone. It's not even funny. Adam, are you back?
I'm here. I'm having a little bit of technical issues on my screen, but I'm still here.
So what do you think about this whole FBI and IRS investigating the $24 billion missing in homeless funds?
They say, as goes California, so goes the rest of the nation. So they've got to clean up the mess in California because that's the biggest chunk economically. I'm sure this pockets. I mean, you got Newsom. Let's check Nancy Pelosi and the other governors over there on the West Coast.
100%, I agree.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna have to go. Yeah, Newsom's gonna have to go quickly, but they gotta clean that up before. Because if you said California, the rest of the nation will go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Along those same terms, too, Sam, Dick Durbin will not seek re-election.
Oh, interesting.
Just announced that now.
Interesting.
Yeah, it seems like
the plot is thickening.
Yes.
All right, so Dana Mackey, nice catch, James. T. Rainey 2 is here, and she said, "You're a guy." I hope you're talking about me, T. Rainey. Amy said it's Gavin, Nancy. Yeah, exactly. Rosie, who's a subscriber, said, "How is Newsom still in power?" Well, that's a question. Daddy D is here as well. Our Jeff Coe, thank you for the gifts. All right, so let's move over to China dumping U.S. treasuries and stockpiling gold. Alex, what do you see as, I mean, that's going on. Do you see this turning into a crash or a collapse? Are you seeing, what do you see with all this?
I see, in my opinion, not financial advice, just some tinfoil hat wearing guy in the Midwest in his 50s. Not in a basement, though. A switch is coming, folks. That's what we're watching. When you have literally planes and truckloads of gold shifting around the world from different places to different places, there is something coming, and I believe that's going to be a switch. And when that switch is flipped, if the holder of physical gold, or you are investing with companies that allow you to have gold-backed IRAs and things like that, I think you will be very happy at the end of this.
Well, and this leads right into the next story. Coins is confirming it's considering applying for a U.S. bank charter, a move that, hold on, I have a technical issue here. There we go. That would be like a traditional banking service. James, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's hard for me to speculate, and I've had conversations with Al, and I've had conversations with Dave about this. I feel like China's falling into some sort of a trap. We have tons and tons, 1,000 tons of gold, maybe more than that, but there's different ways that I believe that the United States is going to balance their budget. They're either going to gold, take that money, take care of national debt, which is $37 trillion, and the remainder can go in crypto, or they can take the $150 trillion in the Seska Trust and use that money to pay off the national debt and buy Bitcoin. So I don't know how gold is going to go. I'm not a gold, but I have some, but I don't think the price of gold is going to hang, because I think make the sell-off while it's still high, and once they reevaluate gold, it's going to go back to $42 an ounce. Huh. So, it's caution. That's not advice. That's just my hypothesis.
Well, interesting. I see Alex shaking his head no. What do you think, Alex?
I disagree. So when you look at what GDP, our economy, and the offset, when it goes from, say, 42 to 10,000 or 20 or 30,000 or even 3,000 currently that it's at. And then you flip the switch to put the dollar back on a gold reserve currency. That's not something that you're going to turn back off later. And you certainly wouldn't sell the gold that's backing your dollar. So we're moving back to, and maybe it's a combination of assets that back the dollar, but you certainly wouldn't sell it off, and you wouldn't devalue it again. I don't see that happening, James. Respectfully, sir.
Well, hey, that's exactly fine. If they use a little bit of gold, a little bit of Sescave, if they use the nation of both, that's great. But just keep in mind one thing for today. XRP is going to be claimed it's going to be the global currency as of today. It hasn't been announced yet that I know of. I've been playing in the corner. You guys probably have a better idea of what's going on with that than I do.
Adam, what are your thoughts?
Okay, it's a penalty box.
Yeah, be careful. Choose your words carefully.
Just say every other word.
Yeah.
Buy the TikTok shop.
And I think I see a dark cloud over your head, so be careful.
The fact that we've got the Basel Accords of Basel III and Basel IV, that's why all these countries have been accumulating gold. And the fact that the new system, as it rolls out, the system is being pulled back. And this is all in my opinion. I don't know anything. I don't see that happening in terms of liquidating that. I mean, I see more of a tie, honestly, to your, James, is actually a tie between XRP and the gold. There's been a lot of rumblings, and if you follow the XRP, XLM, Stellar story, that's where silver and gold, you're going to see when they do revalue that, it's where it's going to. I think it's being suppressed at this moment until, and that's why they haven't revalued the gold. They actually get through some things like dealing with China on the national debt, etc., because that's been manipulated. So we're going to get to a real number before the gold gets revalued. But gold isn't going anywhere. It's still going to play a very important role backing our currency.
I tend to think you're right. I don't think it's going anywhere. Whether it's going to go up or down, your guess is as good as mine. Boosted Designs.
It's been worthless.
Right. Boosted just said XRP teamed up with Amazon for global payments. Is that true, Alex?
I've seen an article that's been floating for a while, but I haven't seen and to the statement that XRP is going to be the currency. That's not exactly accurate. What XRP does, ladies and gentlemen, the network of Ripple, the ledger, allows for cross-border payments instantly. So that doesn't currency. That simply means that if I have, $10,000 worth of XRP and I want to get to Sam, literally I click them and now Sam has that, and it happens instantly. When you look at the old banking systems in SWIFT, a lot of what happens is overnight you have a reconciliation of accounts, and these are large AS400 computers. They're the size of a freaking trunk of a car. They're massive computers, and they're old. Screen. Those settlements happen. Yes, when you do something transactional, you may see it within a few minutes hit your account, but most of the time, if you deposit a check, it says what? We'll give you $200 now, and tomorrow morning the rest of your money will be available, right? And that is a settlement of the accounts, a reconciliation of the accounts that happen overnight. A switch to something from a SWIFT network over to an XRP network, those transactions are going to be instant. And they're going to use a fraction of the electricity and a fraction of the computing power that is currently necessary to reconcile those accounts. So XRP won't become a currency per se, but the Ripple network and the ability for banks and corporations. So think about when you do a transaction, right? How much of a percentage are they taking from you? Credit card companies, how much of a percentage are they taking from either you or from the store owner who's using Visa or MasterCard? It's a 2 or 3%. Me as a business owner, for my clients, for risk tool, if I take automated payments via credit card, 2 point some odd cent is going back to the credit card company for facilitating that transaction. what happens in a world when that is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a penny per transaction cost, and it's instant. That's what XRP represents to the mainstream. So now you're seeing SEC lawsuits, and you're seeing big, hey, wait a minute, you're about to take part of my piggy bank because I'm not going to be able to charge these transactions anymore. Multi-billion-dollar industry, folks. When I worked for a publicly traded company, we installed software for banks. I understand what the fractional means to the profit, the bottom line of these companies. The company I worked for was one of the largest independent ATM switch in the world. Their main data center was in Budapest, Hungary, and that little teeny tiny every transaction that they facilitated equals billions of dollars. And so when you start talking about this new revolutionary tech that's going to come in and change everything, the boys with deep pockets are going to fight that with everything that they've got.
And also lines too, in terms of transaction speed, isn't it interesting that when you use your debit card, the funds come out immediately, but when you get it takes 2 or 3 days to get it back. They're floating the interest. I mean, when you do that with millions or billions of people, you're talking about enormous amounts of money.
Well, and that's another market that's threatened by the XRP and the ability to transfer things immediately. No longer will they be able to sit on your money for 9, 10, 12, 14 days collecting interest.
Exactly.
You know what? One of the things that's interesting in speculation is XRP was talked about to take over 5 to 10% of SWIFT. In the recent days, I've read it in many places that XRP, due to efficiency, will probably replace the SWIFT system.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've heard.
I believe that to be true because the computing data centers, folks, the main components to a data center is net connectivity, right? Great big pipes of internet that come in so that connectivity is there. Copious amounts of electricity. I'm talking massive amounts, megawatts electricity, and cooling, right? The cooling power to be able to keep those computers operating at a lower temperature, therefore they use electricity, right? So with those three components, and the cost of running data centers to facilitate these, when you start looking at the cost of a distributed ledger, it's minuscule in comparison, right? So again, that's another facet of big business that's like, hey, wait a minute, you're about cookie jar. I don't want this to happen.
Right, exactly. Hey, Top Crop TV, thank you for all the gifts. JP Metal said, isn't there supposed to be a physical currency? Yeah, I don't think they're going to get rid of cash. I personally believe that when the switch happens, we will asset-backed US dollar. What it's going to be called, when it's going to roll out, how it's going to function, I don't know. I don't think they're going to get rid of cash. I don't think that's the intention. What do you guys think?
I think cash. I'm us old school, Gen X and older probably carry, some cash on us at all times, just in the event of. But when you look across the broad spectrum of people across all countries, it's already cashless. It's a card in their pocket, right?
Right.
When that switch happened, I think there's still a place for cash in society, but we're 90% to a cashless society.
100%, I agree. We have ShareBaby29 said, Adam, great to see you. Welcome back. Agape Rescues Children. Stacy said, so interesting. They are so demanding. I've heard that too. John Gwynn said, fans use more energy on Earth than anything else. JP Metal Slayer said, so it's good to hot XRP. Well,
I think you meant hold it.
Yeah, hold, hodl, same thing, sir. But, well, if you're hodling something anyway. So this isn't financial advice, but the only two digital currencies that I can, in good conscience, promote are Bitcoin and XRP. Now, there may be many others out there. Alex and I have had many conversations about this. I'm just not well versed enough about it to be able to make any other recommendation other than Bitcoin and XRP. And again, that's just my opinion. That and $1 will get you at the local store. But Alex, what do you think?
I think that with the introduction of ISO, which is an industry standard for these technologies moving forward, if a company falls underneath the ISO compliance, then most likely it is going to succeed in the digital world. Therefore, first and foremost, everybody do your homework, right? If you're going to be putting money somewhere, make sure that you have done your research and understand the functionality, network, how long it owns it, what their plan of action is, what the idea of it is. And it's very overwhelming to people that are just getting into it. So Sam will help you if you are interested in getting into the crypto market. Sam will help you get set up to understand how to buy and sell Bitcoin. Going back to Coinbase and them become, a bank, that only makes sense because, I have in my wallet right now a card that I can go use, Visa card, right? And it debits my account at Coin. So it makes sense that they would make a move to maybe a bank status. And I think that opens the door for the do things that are coming down the pipe as crypto becomes more and more everyday for the world.
Right. James, what are your thoughts?
Well, I guess that brings to mind, Alex, do you feel that Coinbase is a safe platform to store and hold your coins?
Personal opinion, absolutely not. I don't trust anybody to hold it. Look at what happened with FTX.
Well, and that was my question. That was my point exactly.
Right.
I mean, to have possibility of somebody raiding your account and all of a sudden you have zero.
But
when
is this today? You get a court order from some judge somewhere, and all of a sudden your bank account shut off. Right. So that already exists today with the banking system. They have the ability to come in, some random person and reports that you're doing nefarious things, and bam, there goes your bank accounts, there goes your access, there goes your cell phone service. They can shut it all down. So that's nothing new. But you do bring up a good point. And so, do I have some in the exchanges? Yes, the exchanges are user friendly, so it's an easy way to take your dollar bill, turn it into whatever crypto you want it. But once I've sold on what my accumulation numbers are, for the sake of easy conversation, 5,000 XRP. Okay, I'm going to take that 5,000 XRP out of the exchange. I'm going to transfer it over to a cold wallet. That cold wallet is something I hold in my hand. My keys, my crypto, live on my cold wallet, and it's not sitting here. I'd show you. And that gives me the ability. So if the exchange goes down, that's fine. I plug my cold wallet in to the net. I say, okay, guess what? XRP is now at $200 times $5,000. So I'm going to take, 2,000 XRP, it over, and I'm going to convert it to USD. Now I'm going to go use my bank card, and I'm going to purchase a new Ferrari.
Right. Exactly.
I completely agree with you on taking it in the cold storage. If you move it to cold storage, if you hold it, you own it. And it's the safest place. There's a bunch of them out there to use. I choose Arculus. From the study that I've taken, I believe it's one of the safer ones, but that was my choice. But I'm learning with you too when you're talking about this. I always thought it was a safe platform, but when I started to hear people being, they got nothing the next day, that's when I started to move.
Yeah. Hey, we have a special guest here that just joined the live. It is my Golfer Kath, GLFR. I've been trying to get her on TikTok for years. She no, and she finally joined. It's GLFRCAH. Everybody go over and follow her so she gets some followers on TikTok. That would be appreciated. Glad she made it in.
River Bear said, I wouldn't touch crypto. My best investment has been gold bars. I'm not going to argue that point. I agree. Physical are always a great place to keep things. I would ask you to go take a look at, let's say, from 2013 to today, the percentage that gold bar has increased per ounce, and go look at what one coin then and today has increased. And the difference between the two, it's not a get rich quick, it's the long haul,
Right,
right?
100%.
What am I going to have sitting in my accounts 5, 10, 15 years down the road?
Yeah, Mama Bear said, "Oh my God, we go to a cashless society. There's those allowances, there goes petty cash." I don't think we're going to get to that point, personally, Mama Bear. In 1949, corrected me and said it's $2 and my opinion coffee. in Annie, thank you for the gifts; it's appreciated. JP Metal Slayer gave the thumbs up. Sounds like we answered the question. Only the Schwoglers, boy, I probably just butchered that. Thank you for all the gifts. Freddie G says in Wall Street. Well, pretty much everything is, but I think we're seeing a big move there. Lee Daniel. Hey, Lee, glad you're here. She said the judges, etc., are bankers. The courthouse is a bank. Oh, hold on a second. Which of these? Wow, this is weird. I'm trying to.
There's symbols that are alike.
No, it's not. It's completely different. It says, which of these objects is a musical instrument? Oh,
Trying to do a verification.
yeah, it's weird.
It's a new puzzle. It's been out for.
Which of these things for your hair? You've got to be kidding me. What the heck is this? Let me see if that works. Oh my God, unable to verify. Try again. Objects roar loudly. Oh my goodness. Oh, I got it. What do you know? Jeez. And on top of it, it's about this big, so I'm trying to figure out. Wow. Sorry about that, everybody. Anyway, Lee Daniel said the judges, etc., are bankers. The courthouse is a bank. Very true.
You know, I real quick here, Sam, to kind of touch on everybody's as the comments roll through here. I would encourage everyone to go look up the Basel III and Basel IV Accord to look up and understand, because what that does is it's setting the worldwide regulation for the financial systems and how that's changing, and how that should really kind of help give you a feel for why we're looking at not so much a currency, just individual currency backed by it. You're backing an entire system globally with these precious metals and those things. So go through and take a look at that and understand that, yeah, I mean, if you got crypto, I understand the hesitation there, but look at it in terms of the stock market. Look at a coin or a replacing a share of stock and what can't be done with it.
Right.
Meaning it can't be counterfeited or any of those things. Understand, I mean, food, water, land, gold, and then you can deal in crypto.
You know, John Glynn just said, do I need a hot storage wallet to transfer to Arculus, or can I transfer directly? Alex? Or James, I should say.
Oh, no. I mean, if you're coming off a platform, you can transfer it directly to Arculus,
Yep.
or in any cold storage, and there's no fee for that. You're not selling it. You're just holding it. So there's no fee.
Right. King's Girl 1974 said Basel III and Basel IV Accords. Our Jeff Coat, JP Metal Slayer, thank you for the gifts. What's that, Alex?
It's ASEL.
What did I say?
No,
I'm looking at her how the way she typed it out. She said Basel III, Basel IV. She said AL. It's BEL3 and BASEL4.
Gotcha. Okay. Here's a good question, Mama Bear. I want you to answer, Alex. She said, what exactly is crypto?
Digital asset. That's the easiest way to explain it. So, crypto is it goes clear back to Edison, currency, right? Which is no different than what our banking system does today, except for the fact it's stored on a distributed ledger. And I think we've explained this on the show before, but
It's worth doing.
Yeah. We'll go over it real quickly. So let's go back to the 1800s. You walk into the bank and you walk up to the teller window and you hand him $5. He pulls out his ledger book and he writes, Sam Shalhoub deposited $5 on this date. And then 2 weeks later, Sam comes in and says, I need $2 of my $5. He pulls out the ledger, he subtracts, that leaves 3 in the bank, he hands 2. That is the ledger, okay? The problem with that is, what if the banker goes, oh, erase, erase, erase. Oh, I don't know what happened to that, Sam. Or the executive says, Sam is a criminal. I'm going to take his $3 from his account. Whoop, there it went. It's gone. Distributed ledger. The ledger is distributed across tens of thousands of computers. So when Sam walks into a crypto situation and $5, it has to authenticate across multiple computers around the world before it's a confirmed transaction, and it's permanent to an encrypted ledger that no one can ever change or alter and is always trackable, right? So we always go back and find the transaction ID, and I know that Sam came in and he deposited $5 to the crypto bank. That is what crypto is. It is a distributed ledger, decentralized from any banking system, non-fungible, non-F-withable system that is going to free us from the banking that we've been underneath for centuries.
Right, exactly. And another way to put it very simply, it's digital money at some level. So, yeah. All right. So, TJ said, what is a safe way to start crypto on? Well, TJ, what I would suggest is you go to my website, samshalhu.com. There's a button on there that says learn how to buy Bitcoin. You can book an appointment directly with me. I will walk you through the process on this with dozens and dozens and dozens of people over the last couple of years. It took me a while to get my arms around this. I read books. I would join communities. I spent hours, hundreds of hours learning cryptocurrency. So if you want, go to samshalhoub.com, book it with me, and I'll walk you through it. All right, so let's move over, guys. Now we've got Marty McCreary announced the FDA is removing petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food and medication. Oh, sorry. What's that, Alex?
He's got a Ledger Nano.
In the comments, if Ledger Nano was safe, there's a Ledger Nano X.
And then, does that carry Bitcoin, XRP, and multiple coins?
It does carry multiple coins, and that was part of my decision in going with the Ledger. My research, they have one of the broadest abilities. Not all cold storage wallets store all cryptos. So depending on what crypto you hold, it may shape the choice around which ledger, which cold storage wallet you choose, because not all cold storage wallets support all cryptos.
You know, my first cold wallet was a Trezor One. It will only hold Bitcoin. So that's a very good example. Now the other Trezor you can get more, but
so they've updated that, and I think all cold storage wallets are starting to get on board with the fact that they are going to have to allow. They've got to be able to generate the code to put to the cold storage wallets to be able to be compatible with all crypto platforms. So,
yeah, Wendy J said I use Coinbase. Hope it's safe. I think it's good for transactional purposes, Wendy. But if you have any type of in digital currency, I would certainly transfer it to cold wallet. In my opinion, that's just.
If you're going to hold something for years, put it into cold storage. Pretty safe bet.
Right.
If you're
Raining on Amazon.
Yeah, if you're going to hold it for 6-8 months and try to, buy the dip high or do some things with it and play with it, then leave it on the exchange. Personally, I'm holding for years and years and years. So that's where I'm keeping it.
Right. All right. So anyway, it looks like RFK Jr. and they are removing petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food and medication. I heard a lot of people saying, oh, well, they're giving them 2 years to comply. Well, here's the thing. You don't want to crash the market overnight. If they say immediately it's got to go tomorrow, it's going to cause a major disruption. At the very least, by saying 2 years, you have a lot of people now that weren't saying, wait a minute, maybe I should look on the food ingredients and see whether they're in there, and they'll self-select out of those products anyway. But I think it's important not to panic. Just like if we announce the cure for cancer tomorrow, you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry that would die overnight. There would be chaos. So, and I think a slow roll is the smart way to play it. Alex, what do you think?
I think that when you look at other countries around the world that have outlawed, not just banned, outlawed these types of things being in the food supply and the food chain, we're behind the times, and we're supposed to be the most developed nation in the world. Why are these things still in our food supply?
Right, exactly. T Rainey 2 said, "How do you get the wallets?" T Rainey, you can either, or if you want to learn how to do it, go to my website and I'll walk you through it. All right, we're going to wrap up. We got 2 more stories that really go together, and I'm not sure if everybody knows who Catherine is, but she came out with an article, or she's going to be coming out, but she gave us hints that she's going to be talking about directed energy weapons. And I believe that those have been in play for a very long time, not just here in America, but around the world. And as soon as that came out, within just a few minutes, maybe an hour, a huge fire erupted in Jersey. I don't think that's accidental. I think there's much more going on there. Adam, what are your thoughts?
I like you because I've followed Catherine Herridge for many years, and I already know that got his 2 cents he's going to put in for here. I'm going to tell you this right now. I was supposed to be in Lahaina the day of what ended up happening there on that fire, and I was warned the night before. All of a sudden, it was canceled because there was some things that were going to be going down. These direct energy weapons are something that they've been put in the wrong hands. We'll just put it that way.
Right.
Truth is stranger fiction, ladies and gentlemen.
Very true.
Mhm.
Dave?
Yeah, we'll see what happens coming out of that. The locations of these weapons, and if it's just on, I know there's some stuff on helicopters and stuff like that they have.
Right. Exactly. Not to mention naval vessels, not to mention possibly space-based equipment. Adam, you look like you want to say something.
No, I'm trying to hold my tongue. I do not need to go back to the penalty.
Yeah, exactly. James, what are your thoughts?
I'll take a poke at it. Directed energy weapons are focused energy. They're based on either microwaves or particle beams, and it's without kinetic energy. They're commonly used against drone swarms or other aerial threats. They can also be used to target missiles and vehicles, defend military installations, neutralize optical offenses. If somebody's keeping an eye on you, you can basically melt the device. They disrupt and disable systems. Their advantages: speed of engagement, and they operate at the speed of light. So that's really, really fast. They reduce the environmental impact, and they're also used in crowd control.
You know, we should probably be careful of some of the terminology. We're getting a lot of warnings in the chat. So let's, you can find it on the TikTok shop. So let's defuse that. Go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
So it's a very, very efficient weapon, but where we've seen it used before, I would think that they were probably utilized out in New Jersey. I think they were used probably somewhere over in Hawaii. They're probably used in the telltale sign is obviously whenever a building is blue, they're not affected. Cars that are painted are affected.
Right.
So there's some signs out there that if the car next to it's red and it's melted and the aluminum wheels are gone, you know what it was hit by.
Right.
And now I know why Sam and Alex are wearing blue shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Daddy D said DEWs in Hawaii. Yeah, I agree. And just as from an experience, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have been into lasers for quite some time, 10 years now. I have a whole array of lasers. I have ones that are 200 milliwatts, where you can see the beam for 5 miles. I have some that are 1,000 milliwatts that are a much thicker beam that you can see for 20 miles. I have some lasers that will start a piece of wood, it'll catch the wood on fire. I have other ones where I could literally point that beam from my laser 2 blocks away and trigger a sprinkler system 2-3 blocks away. I own those. I've had those for years. Could you imagine what that must have?
Right.
And I didn't get those all. Well, let me see. How should I put this? It's difficult to get some of the ones that I have. Let me put it that way.
You didn't purchase them off the TikTok shop.
No, I didn't. I didn't get them at Walmart. No. Yeah, but
Sam, can you explain, give the chat or the platform an idea of the different classes of lasers?
well, it goes by watts and milliwatts. The higher the number, the more intensity it has. You know, the ones that you see with the little that you play with cats with, you know, 0.25 milliwatt or a 0.50 milliwatt. Some of the bigger ones going from 100, 200, 500 milliwatts. Yeah, something like that would be very small. What's the milliwatts on that one, Alex?
Man, you're gonna make me put my glasses on.
No, they're already on.
No,
Oh, the other glasses.
His readers.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Sam.
So
He's doing that research. The Apache helicopter uses a Class 5 laser,
mhm.
and that laser is designed to paint a target, and therefore it can you can guide missiles to it from several different aircraft. But today they're outfitting some of our jets like the F-47, the F-35. They do have lasers capable of starting and basically incinerating things.
Right.
Some of the oldest aircraft in the Air Force had that, and you can see it. It's very obvious up in the front of the aircraft. That thing's like 5-6 feet wide, and it's very obvious when it points a laser. You can actually see it with your naked eye.
Yeah, exactly. Alex, what does it say, or can you tell?
Man, them Chinese make them letters.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's probably a 0.25 or a 0.50. Rosie said, Sam, why do you? At the heart of it, Rosie, I'm just a nerd at heart. I technology. I love, I've been into pews all my life, but I feel that this is kind of like the next evolution of that type of protection. Literally, the first time I bought these years ago, and I had one that was much higher wattage than I'm aware of. So I put it all. Oh, hey, thanks for achieving the live goal, everybody. But I was putting it together, and I accidentally turned it on, and the beam hit my hand and immediately singed my hand. So I like those things. I enjoy technology, nerd at heart, like I said. So nothing nefarious with it, but I don't know. I just like them. So that's why. Go ahead, laugh. Hey, Don the Third G, thank you for all the gifts, and thank you for putting up on the daily goal.
And Sam, it's a lot more exciting than collecting stamps.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with collecting stamps, but that's not my gig. Yeah. All right, everybody. So, all right, let's wrap it up here. I think we've gone through most everything. Dave, final thoughts?
There's a few more things. Breaking is what we've been talking.
Oh, sure. What?
Zelensky has rejected the Trump peace plan today.
Oh.
And something I found a little bit of joy in. World Economic Forum launches probe into founder Klaus Schwab's economic deals.
Oh, that's right. I had that in the Daily Dispatch today. I missed it. Yeah, interesting.
Down?
The day after he stepped down, right.
The day after he stepped down.
Right.
Yeah, how old was he? How old was he?
88, I believe.
88.
Yep.
Gee, the Pope died. He was how old?
I think he was 88. Yeah.
And of course, Dick Durbin now stepping down. The 60-minute producer resigns following Trump's lawsuit against 60 Minutes. It's amazing on how people are stepping away because in my mind, of guilt.
Yeah, of course. There's so much being exposed right now, everyone. It's truly living in historic times. Blue Eyed Girl 86 said, love these lives, always so informative, Blue Eyed Girl. So again, there's so much happening. I mean, we've already been on for almost an hour and a half, and tomorrow I'm sure it will be just as interesting with all that's going on. But if you're new on TikTok, hit that follow button. I do a daily dispatch every morning. And everybody on TikTok, follow Alex, follow Dave, follow Adam, follow James. And don't forget to follow my sister, Golfer Kath, GLFRCATH, new to TikTok. Hopefully you can make her feel welcome. And of course, we have Alex up there trying to burn himself with a cat laser. It ain't going to work, brother. But I know someone that will. All right, so let's go to final thoughts, Dave.
Excited to see where this is going. Obviously, we're in the right direction, and has us all in his heart, all in his thought process to save the U.S. for sure.
Amen.
Well, I'm going to pick up where I left off since I've had a week's vacation here. So I'm going to stick with I got the Third Amendment here. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in house without the consent of the owner, nor in the time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. So there's your daily education of the Constitution. Go look it up, and there you go.
Thank you, Adam. James?
Well, Adam, first of all, I'd like to welcome you out of jail. It's good to have you back. You think about the age of the Pope, and you think about Club 88. You know, when Doc and Marty talked about it, when that car hits 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shit. The energy going forward with the country, the attitude seemingly has changed. Seeds are going in the ground. People are wearing a smile. We're like we're going in the right direction. I think a lot of people feel that. I think we have positive energy today. And yesterday, and pretty much ever since we've seen Reed Raskin come on board and give us about TikTok. I think that has inspired a lot of people, especially people that follow live. And I thank everybody for being here.
Yeah, amen.
God bless America.
Amen. Alex?
One more tidbit of things to pay attention to. I don't know if everybody's familiar with James O'Keefe, formerly of Veritas. He's done some pretty groundbreaking reporting, releasing things to the public, and what he's working on right now is what we are going to release will be biblical.
Right. And
kind of following what's happening. Apparently, his house was raided by detectives, and he said nothing's going to stop what we put out, and it's apparently showing some resistance inside the Pentagon. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Final thoughts. It's springtime. Get outside. Pick up the phone and call that person that you've been thinking about, because tomorrow's not promised. And we appreciate all of you showing up and contributing. We even appreciate the trolls, because you boost the algorithm. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, and I couldn't have said it better, you guys. In summation, I am grateful for everyone on this screen, Alex, Adam, James, and I'm so grateful for everybody at home, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. And I get a kick out of this every time we do it. And as Alex said, get outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, because the best yet to come. So anyway, guys, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow morning. See you at home. Have a great